Hi guys, welcome back for another build. Today we're going to do a build in the Cooler Master Elite 130 case. Normally when you watch my videos, a lot of times I'll show the case and then give a description of it, then I'll cut from there, do the build, come back, and then talk about the build. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to do the build as I go along, and I'm going to talk about it as I'm going along. Now, I'm not going to do it in like a live environment where you actually see me doing the build. I'm actually going to talk about what I'm going to do step by step. I'm going to do that step, and then I'm going to cut the video, come back and edit it later, all into one big, long video. But anyways, let's get started here. The Elite 130, if you look on YouTube, I'm sure there's probably lots of build videos about this. What I'm going to do is put a little ITX board in here that I got a great deal on, and it's from, we'll show it on the screen here, shopucw.com. They have a nice little thing going here, the mini ITX blowout for $65, where you get your choice of mini ITX boards. You can either get the Asus P8 H77i, which is a socket 1155 board, or the Asus H811, or maybe it's 881i-plus, which is the socket 1150. And you also get 8 gigs of memory, and of course a stock cooler, and the I/O shield, and then you get your choice of processors. On the processors, you can get the i3 3220, or the i5 4430, or the i5 4460. $65 sent right to your door. That's what I got coming in. That should actually be here tomorrow, but right now we're going to do a little bit of prep work till that gets here. Now, originally, I used a AMD setup in this. I've actually owned this case for a couple years now, and the AMD setup was getting kind of old, and what I was planning on doing was bumping it up to a Ryzen, and I'll probably do that still later on. But I really couldn't pass up the $65 for the motherboard, CPU, and RAM. And the funny thing about that is the CPU and RAM that comes with it, I'm actually not going to use. I'll actually put that on my shelf and save that for a customer or whatever that, could use an upgrade or something. Maybe they're using an old Pentium or something, and it's something I have on the shelf. I just couldn't pass up the price. $65. 8 gigs of memory, of course I'll toss that on the shelf too. What I plan on doing with this board that I have coming in is I'm going to put a Core i7 3770 in it, and that should be here hopefully tomorrow as well. And I'm also doing 16 gigs of RAM. The socket 1155 boards are, I think, a pretty good value. They're still pretty capable. Especially like if you use the Core i5 3570K or the Core i7 3770. Those are both capable processors. They work great. And getting it in ITX is awesome. Now, what this is going to be used for is in my bedroom as my home theater PC. I've got, several home theater PCs. And like I said, this used to have an AMD setup in it. It was an old A10 setup. It actually ran kind of hot, as, they normally did with those AMD ones, those older generation AMD ones. And I actually pulled that out, put it into another build, sold that off a while back. And so this has been sitting up on my shelf for a while. And like I said, I wanted to originally do a Ryzen, and I probably will later on. But since I got that board coming in, we might as well do it in here. We might as well do a video on it, and I can go through this build with you. Now, the main thing that I'm going to cover in this build is really all this shit. All these wires. Basically making it all look good. There's a lot of cramped space in there. And it's probably not very easy for people if you're not really into building computers, but maybe you want to do an ITX build. And, maybe you want to take advantage of this $65 combo there with the motherboard, CPU, and memory if you want. And again, that's shopucw.com. I'm not in any way affiliated with these guys. I don't know them. It's just a link that I picked up that I wanted to share with you guys in case you would like to do a ITX build yourself, and you want to save some bucks and you want to get something started on the cheap. This is definitely it. This case will hold a long graphics card. You can get a big graphics card here. And what I'm going to put into this one is going to be a RX 460, and like I said, it's because it's going to be a home theater PC. It's not going to be used for gaming at all. It's just going to be for like Amazon Prime, Netflix, my HD Homerun cable card tuner. That's all it's going to be used for. That and maybe some DVDs. That's why we got the DVD player going on right there. But we'll start with as you can see, I got the sides off, of course, and the front panel off, and the back panel off. Next part would be this fan, and this fan. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off. We'll do our first cutscene right here, and I'll come back, and I'll show you what I've done with these two things before we get into this case a little bit more. And I'll see you in just a second. Okay, moving right along. So what I've done is I put a couple fans in here. On this side, we have a Be Quiet Pure Wings 2 fan, 120 millimeter. And that's going to be our intake fan. That's going to complement the AIO that's going to go in here, which is going to have two more fans right here. What I'm looking to do is create a positive pressure inside of here so that we've got more air coming in than is being exhausted. But we still want that exhaust. So for that, we got this fan right here that I changed out from this stock fan that comes with it. Now, if you remember in the last cutscene there, the fan was in there like that. It was a intake fan. I reversed that around to an exhaust fan. And another thing that I did is this is now a PWM fan because the stock fan is just a DC 12 volt. What I'm using here is called the Top Motor by Dynatron. It's an 80 millimeter by 15 millimeter. It's got to be a little bit smaller than a standard 80 millimeter. See how it's a little bit, the width in it isn't as wide. That's so it fits in here, and that's the kind you will need is an 80 millimeter by 15 millimeter. I'm going to go PWM all the way around in this, and I'll show you how that's going to work as we progress along here. But for now, let's take a look at this. Let me get my flashlight, my handy dandy flashlight. Something else that I've done here is you'll see the wiring in there. I put some little plastic tie-down straps in there, and I started my wiring as well. I didn't tie them down yet because what we want to do when that motherboard goes in is plug everything in that we need, kind of pull it back, make it kind of tight in there, then tie it down, move along, tie it down until we can get most of our jumbled mess tightened up back this way. We pull it in. Same thing with this one. See how much we got here? Oh, it's hanging out. Get that out of there. This is going to go on our front panel headers, which are about here on the motherboard that we got coming in. And so what I want to do is get those plugged in first, and then pull them back there, and then take the tie straps right there and tie them down, and then maybe kind of jumble it all up right in here in this area on this side, and in this area right here on this side. That way what we get on the inside here is a nice open area for our air intake to come through. Now, you can mount your hard drives a couple different ways in this. You know, you can put a couple of them up here if you didn't have the burner going on, but I'm using a burner, of course, because I'm using a DVD player for this one. Or you can mount them back there where that fan is on that wall, or you can mount them down here. I'm choosing to mount the fans, or excuse me, the SSD drive. Let me grab it real quick. Right down in here on this, and it just takes the little rubber things on there. You just take it, pop it down in there, and oops, can't do it one-handed. There we go. Push it forward, locks it down nice. So that's how that's going to look in there. So we should be able to get our radiator in here with no problems at all in push-pull configuration. I'm going to use another Be Quiet fan on the inside here, and then on the outside that's coming in, I'm going to use, let me grab it up here, one of these. This is actually the fan that came with the radiator. That's going to go in there like that, and it's going to light up red, give us a nice little red ambience there in our case when we're done. So this is going to look pretty cool. The outer side of the case itself is red, and you'll see that towards the end of this video when I put everything on and what have you. I also ordered some high flow dust filters, some Silverstone high flow 120 millimeter filters for the front here, and then I've also got some custom filters that are made for the Elite 130. They're going to go on the sides right here, on this side and on this side. That way this intake fan here is also getting filtered. So next up is going to be the motherboard, and I'm waiting for that to get here. Hopefully that should be here tomorrow. I can get to going on that, and we will continue this build. But I'll see you here in the next cutscene, and bye-bye for just a sec. Okay, the motherboard's in now, and now I can show you this real fast. The wiring down here, how I have this cable managed. You'll notice that what I did is I plugged everything in, pulled them tight, and then I started here and then worked my way forward to the front of the case to tie that all in. Now on this side you'll see that I got the audio header plugged in here, and then here's the front panel headers, and instead of leading them up through here, they're actually tucked underneath the motherboard. This is just kind of an easy way to get them out of the way. I mean, they're small, they're not even going to touch nothing. There's nothing really to worry about there. I did a bench test on the board. I put the new Core i7 in here to replace that other chip that came with it, and here that is. Yeah, i3. And then I did a bench test on it. Unfortunately, my memory here isn't here yet, my 16 gigs, and that's because I ordered it from Shenzhen, China. And so that's probably not going to be here till it looks like about December 3rd. But that's no big deal. I'll just run with the 8 gigs that are in here now. And then the I.O. cooler I got ready. And here's a little tip for you. If you're going to put one in here, and it's kind of hard because you can't hold it from the back to get that plate on. What I did is I put a couple of the screws in, one here and one here. You can see them, and that's to kind of hold it steady. That way when I was putting that motherboard in, I could kind of hold up on that a little bit and position it in there and then set it down, and we're good. So now that that's in there and it's all tightened down, you can see the screws in there, I can take these screws out, and then we can get onto the radiator. So we'll see you here in just a second. Okay, real quickly, I've got all 4 of the fans hooked up now, and every one of them are running. Let's get our flashlight here so we can see this. See, they're all spinning. Back one there, and even the one up front. Look at that, nice little red light going on there. This thing is just extremely quiet. I can hear a little bit of noise, but that noise is actually coming from my testing power supply. Everything down here is just dead silent. I shit you not. What I use to get all these 4 fans working on PWM is Pwm Splitter. That's got basically the one end connects to the motherboard, and that picks up the PWM signal, and then the other end goes into a Molex, and then that will split out into 4 separate channels, so that everything that's PWM on these fans is running. And then what I did, since this goes into a Molex, and I don't like using Molex, is I got a Sata to Molex adapter here that you'll see. So I've got it plugged into a Sata port into the Molex, which is powering all those fans. Now, like I said, this is my testing power supply, and the new power supply for this should be here Monday. It better be. And then we can finish this up pretty much. The one that's coming in is a modular power supply. So next thing to do is put that modular power supply in there, do a little bit of cable management. You know, not like this. This is just hanging out there. This is just to show you this. We're going to do some cable management with that new power supply coming in, and we should still have a nice open space in here. We got the hard drive mounted down there. You can see that. There it is. And I would have liked to put it up here, but there just wasn't enough gap with that radiator. It kind of bumps into the little hooks that go on there where the SSD on top would mount. So, yeah, that wasn't possible, but still, we got it running, as you can see, in a push-pull configuration. We got fresh air venting in from there and exhausting out here. So, yeah, we're looking good so far. We'll see you in the next cutscene. Okay, guys, so I kind of had a change of plans. I got the new power supply that's going to be coming in, and that's going to be here Monday. That's a, what is it, like a 635 watt Raid Max. I kind of decided that that's probably kind of overkill for this computer, considering what it's going to be used for. So I just decided to take one of my spare ones off the shelf there and stick that one in there instead. This is actually one from an old HP computer, and what I did with it is I changed the fan out on it because the fan was, you know, kind of loud, and put a nice quieter fan in there. But you can see that I got all my wiring and stuff all taken care of in there. Look at that nice open gap that we have. That's the real highlight here, is that open space there. Not much sticking out there. You can see I used some tie straps right here. Well, actually, they're grip strips is what I used. I have a whole package of them. Yeah, tons of these damn things. I use them like crazy because it gets those wires out of the way. What I did is I wrapped them around the bar there, and the power leads on this particular power supply are actually pretty short. So that worked out great. And it gave me all kinds of open room there to get what I need done. And the video card that's in here, like I said, is an RX 460. I didn't go any higher than that because all I'm doing is I'm just using it to watch TV on and watch movies on and what have you. I did some thermals on it, and I'll show you this. Let me open that up real quick. Here we go. See what we're running. So as you can see, I'm, right about in the mid 30s there, a little bit lower. The low temp, it's low 30s. It's averaging right in the low 30s there. It looks like it peaked out at about 41 degrees Celsius. That's decent. And it actually gets a little bit cooler when I put the lid on. I ain't going to put that on right now, but I'll do that in a sec. I'll show you what this thing's going to look like. Kind of, because I'm still waiting for a couple of the filters. I'm waiting for the Silverstone high flow filters for that front fan, and then I'm waiting for the filters for the side here. But the nice thing about this graphics card is it doesn't spin up unless it's actually doing some work. So that's something else that kind of keeps it kind of quiet. Let me do another cutscene here, and I'm going to put the lid on, and I'll show you pretty much what this completed build's going to look like. See you in a sec. Okay, so here we have it. This is what I was talking about, where it's going to be red on the sides there. We'll see all that red light there. Let's flip off the lights there real fast. Show you that. Ain't that pretty? Nice little brightness there. Now, if this gets too bright for me, like I said, this is going to be in my bedroom. If this gets too bright, I actually might change this out and just put in another Be Quiet fan in there. I haven't made up my mind yet. I guess I'll see when I get it hooked up in the bedroom. It's going to have a Logitech K400 keyboard attached to it too, so it's going to be completely wireless. And I also have a remote control for the HD tuner somewhere around here in a box. I'm going to have to find it, but let's give you a kind of a look at what it looks like here on the sides for now. And like I said, I have got some other filters coming in for the sides here. They're going to cover this entire area right here on this side and on that other side that match up. The border on it's red, but the filter itself is black, and it's just it's magnetic, and it just goes right over that and over that. You can get them for the top too, but I didn't want one because it's already got a filter up there, and that's not really too important. But as long as the side ones are filtered, because you got your video card here, I want that filtered. And of course you got an intake fan here, and I want that filtered. We've got some pretty good positive pressure going through this thing right now, so it's staying fairly cool. Now if you look on the screen now, you can see my temperatures have actually dropped a little bit from what I just showed a little bit ago. See how it's down in the upper 20s now? Right there, it hit 24 on the fourth core. And you can see it's a little bit cooler now with that lid on, and that air is being pressurized in there and getting forced that way and then out the exhaust. Performance on it is just where I want it to be. Hold on, do I got my network cable plugged in? I'm showing it. There we go. It showed my network was unplugged. Didn't have my cable in all the way. But here's the HD Homerun, and this is the cable card tuner that's in the house. Let me turn that down a little bit. So this is pretty nice. This is the main thing it's going to be used for, because that's all me and my wife do. When we lay at bed at night, we'll watch some TV, maybe watch a movie or whatever, and so like I said, this thing isn't going to be gamed on at all. If you're not familiar with a cable card tuner, basically what it is It's a little box that, here, let me go up here and I'll show you this. Here it is. It's a little box that you can see the cable's plugged in there, and the network's plugged in there. And what that does is it transmits a cable signal through your entire network. That network cable is actually plugged into the router. And so whether you're on a wireless connection or a wired connection, you can tune all the cable channels that you are subscribed to. Like right here, here's all the high definition channels. Show you some of these. You know, and it's really fast too compared to the old TV tuners of yesteryear. And so that's going to be great when I got that in my bedroom, because I got a 40-inch TV in the bedroom that this computer is going to be attached to. And one of the things about this, the reason why I actually used a Elite 130 is because in my bedroom on the shelf that this is going on, it's one of those kind of like cube type shelves, you know, that you can get from like Menards, where they're, you know, like 12-inch by 12-inch or 11-inch, but whatever it is. This thing just fits perfect in there. It kind of hangs over a little bit, but the feet on the bottom there will kind of catch it, and it doesn't, you know, droop. So it sits in there nice and even. But yeah, it just fits in there just perfect. And that's why I like the Elite 130. That's why I like the dimensions on it. I kind of wanted to... Let me turn this off real quick. This is annoying. I can't talk and listen to cartoons at the same time. But, yeah. So, there it is. There's my home theater PC, the kind of revamped. And like I said, I'm going to do a Ryzen build in it eventually. I just wanted to do something with that awesome deal on the ITX board combo that I got. And this was a perfect thing to do with it, because it replaces that old AMD that I had that was kind of running warm. You know, those old FM2 Plus boards, they tend to run kind of hot on the CPUs. I mean, this one's definitely a lot cooler, but it all in all, I would prefer something like a 3400G, maybe a 2400G. I'm kind of liking the 3400Gs these days. That's kind of what I've been recommending to a lot of people as of late, just because of the performance on them. It's one of those CPUs that if you later on decide that you don't want to run your integrated graphics and you want to put a video card in there, then it absolutely has the muscle for gaming. But, you know, something like this, an Intel, you know, 3770, you gotta have the video card. And I'd rather not have the video card. I'd rather, you know, pull this RX 460 out of there, put it to some other use for somebody else. I got it at a pretty good price. I got it for, what was it, like $60? That's not bad. But it wouldn't be my first choice for a video card, quite honestly, but unless it's in a situation like this where it's a home theater PC. That card's kind of dated, but yeah, at least it's going to good use. So that's about it for this one. You'll see some updated pictures on the builds.gg page where I have this posted down in the description. You'll see the updated pictures probably later this week, and all those are going to be is pictures of what the filter looks like on there. And like I said, it's kind of a black filter. It'll kind of match up with this, really. So you could just kind of picture a big long filter with a red border and a black mesh on both sides is going to be the updated look to it. So that's it, and thanks for watching, guys. Don't know when the next build's going to be. Christmas season is coming up, so usually people are out spending money on their gifts. They don't really buy PCs until usually around you know, tax return time, and that's really kind of get a surge of them. Maybe some upgrades going on. I don't know, because I don't really have any builds planned right now. Nobody asking me about any right now because, you know, like I said, it's the holiday season coming up, so people got other shit on their mind. But I will see you later, guys, and I'll see you in the next build. Bye, guys.